Welcome to Kathryn Raaker's World. Innovation, culture, adventure, fashion and health, artists, destinations, traditions. This is Kathryn Raaker's World.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Kathryn Raaker's World. We're doing a series of different programs with Heather Cooper, who has Toolbox Studio. She is doing a wonderful job on Kathryn Raaker, and we want to stay as beautiful as we can. And since I'm in television and radio, it's a constant. So I want to welcome you to our show today. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to talk about, Heather and I are going to talk about what we're going to do today. And then each time that we do it, you'll be able to see all of our segments up on her website, all over our television series, and everywhere we have.
Right.
Isn't that exciting?
It is exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind, Heather. I have had stuff in the past, but when I look at myself today, television in HD is really hard on you. Mm-hmm. But there's all kinds of tricks that you can do. But when you're doing personal appearances and when you're doing whatever, everything shows. Mm-hmm. So we all change a little as we grow older. So tell me what we're doing today and all about your company. This is really important for my viewers.
Okay. Well, so I have been an esthetician for 27 years.
Wow.
So I study skin, makeup, just everything about the face and beauty. Uh-huh. And about 8 years ago, I decided to learn how to do permanent cosmetics. Right. After having done traditional makeup for many, many years, for bridal, different events, different parties. And with permanent cosmetics, it gives me the ability to add more semi-permanent cosmetics to someone's face. So maybe it's eyebrows, eyeliner, lip blushing. And so what we can do with that is we can correct some of the things that have happened due to aging, sagging of the skin, loss of hair. As women, we start to lose our hair, most commonly on our eyebrows. So we lose that shape, we lose the arch, we can lose the tail. And by giving back some of that loss of hair with semi-permanent cosmetics, it gives the illusion that your eyebrows are right where they were before everything changed. So we can make minor corrections. We can bring them in, we can bring them out, we can correct arches, we can make them look like powder brow or hair strokes.
Right, and I think that's important because in my generation, we used to pluck our eyebrows out. I don't know why, as much as we did, but I think about 2 years ago, I just started plucking them and they didn't grow back like I thought. And then having to put makeup on all the time, especially on your brow, on your eyelid, that tends to make it easier and you don't get eye infections or anything else like that, because you're always constantly putting makeup on. And I clean my face more than you can ever imagine. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's true. So when you're using permanent cosmetics, you're stretching the skin a lot less. So therefore, you're helping the skin not deteriorate more than it's already doing naturally on its own. So that action to pull the lid out and apply eyeliner goes away when you have semi-permanent cosmetics. Same thing with the eyebrows. When you have that soft powder brow or soft finish on the face, you wake up every day with eyebrows. You don't have to pencil them on.
And you don't have to pencil them on, which I have to do all the time.
Yeah, so it should last you for a few years.
Right.
It's going to fade away, or it should fade away gradually over time.
Right.
And doing what we're going to be doing for you today, which is going to be a soft powder finish, will look very natural, very much like you did a soft powder finish with your makeup. When it's all healed.
And that makes a really big difference. And then you're going to be able to look at my skin today so that we can continue over a certain time, because you're a new expert on Kathryn Raaker's World.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
I'm excited because, you know, I've always wanted somebody like you to be there.
Okay.
Because I think, you know, and I'm getting more and more booked to the point of no return. So, and especially if you have to do 1 or 2 television shows or radio show and television shows, that's what we have to do. So I'm so glad I'm in your hands.
Well, I'm happy to do it, and I think it's going to be a great result. You're going to be very happy with it, and
Great relationship,
a
actually.
great relationship, and we'll just see what we need to do to keep you looking and feeling as young and youthful as you want to look and feel.
I want to thank you so very much. So let me ask you this question. When we do this, I've already filled out, when you come in, you have to do what?
So when you come in for me, one of the first things we're going to do is a consultation. So a consultation allows me to be able to get to know you, to understand if you've had any previous work before from another artist or maybe even myself, so that I can better evaluate what procedure I need to do to get you the result that you want. So a client consultation form is going to include some basic medical background. We want to make sure that you are a good candidate to have permanent cosmetics, and that your skin can tolerate it, that you're able to go through all the steps of getting it done. Most permanent cosmetics do require at least 2 visits.
Okay.
So I will see you today to do our initial visit, which is the longest visit, where I get to know you, I understand your skin, we plan your brows, we find your color, we go through all of those steps, and then about 6 to 8 weeks later, you will come back and we will look at the results of that first visit and determine what we need to do to just fine-tune and perfect the brow. So I am a more modest artist. I pull back a little bit in the beginning so that I'm able to give you a little more color when you come back for that second
And that
visit.
sounds exciting to me because, I mean, even though I had it done before, I never had that with that first time. So, but I was really happy with the results, and I know I'm going to be loving the results. I love your eyebrows. They are beautiful.
Thank you.
Are they done?
Well, they are done, but they were done about 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I am ready for a touch-up, so there's a little makeup on there right now. But, the other thing, though, that I do tell my clients is I want my work to be a little lighter and airier on the skin so that I have room to give you more color. And also so that if you did decide a few years down the line that you don't want to maintain them, that they will just fade out gradually over time and just look like a lighter version and possibly go away altogether, which you experienced because yours went away. And that's not true for everyone. Some people will keep color forever, while someone else might lose that color completely.
Right.
But having room to add more or change your shape a little bit, if you want to do that, is always a good thing to have. So I do apply color modestly so that I can build the color and give someone either A, longevity in the brow, or B, the option to fine-tune it or change it, should they want to change it later on.
Wow. And you do a lot of different things, don't you? Can you give kind of a list of the things you do?
Well, with permanent cosmetics, primarily I do eyebrows. I do eyeliner or a eyelash illusion, where we put the liner inside the lash line, so it gives someone the illusion of having a thicker, fuller lash line.
Wow.
Eyeliner is exactly what it sounds like, eyeliner on the eye. And then I also do lip blushing. So we look for lip shape and finding a nice color to enhance the natural lip, which will correct the borders of the lip. A lot of times women start losing volume in their face and in their lips. And so adding a little lip blushing to that perks that color back up and helps define the shape a little bit
But
more.
it doesn't make the size of the lip grow or
It does
anything.
not make the size of the lip grow. Only filler is able to do that. Now they'll be a little swollen when you leave, which most women kind of like because it gives them a fuller lip.
I have pretty full lips,
You have
Judge.
pretty full lips, so they're a little swollen when you leave.
Yeah.
And then again, you'll come back about 6 to 8 weeks, and we'll go back in and push a little bit more color in. Now lips are a little harder. The lip skin is much different than the facial skin, so it can take a little bit more work to get lip color in the lip. And not everyone's a good candidate for it either. So that is definitely one where I have to do a consultation in person, see the lips, see the texture, the health of the lip, to determine if we can put lip color. So primarily eyeliner and eyebrows is what I spend most of my time doing in permanent cosmetics.
And then the other part of you, because there's more than just that part, there's another part. Tell us about that.
Well, as an esthetician, I work with women, primarily women, who are, for the most part, over the age of 30, 35 and up, to help them with learning how to manage their skin through the different phases of their life. We have, the different phases where you have puberty, perimenopause, menopause, and all of those skins are very different. So I try to help women find a good home care regimen and to understand their skin and how to treat it and take care of it. So in the treatment room, I do a lot of dermaplaning. I do mild chemical peel treatments, a lot of in-depth facial massage, and light therapy. So I use high-frequency light therapy and red light therapy.
That's fun. That's exciting, actually. Light therapy has really changed our lives.
It really has, and I've been using high-frequency light therapy for my whole career. The red light therapy, which is really kind of making a push into the market, is amazing for aiding the skin in healing and rebuilding itself. So it helps encourage collagen production. It helps smooth and soften fine lines and wrinkles. It's very calming. It helps detoxify the skin. So red light therapy is definitely, it's here.
Let me ask this question. A lot of people have a problem with the red skin where it comes out and it starts, you'll see this today. And it's not, it seems like in the last couple of years it's happened to me. And I really want to know about your regimen as well, because I do need that again. And I'm finding more and more that that when you observe me, you'll see what's going on. And that's kind of really why I wanted you to be an expert with me, because I want to help other women, because there are a lot of, they're afraid to do anything or to try anything. And I found that American women, I've lived overseas, they don't treat themselves as well as European women do, but they're learning.
Well, I think for us in the United States, it tends to be more of a luxury. I'm going on vacation, so I'm going to have a facial, or someone bought me a gift certificate, I'm going to have a facial. I think that it is a preventative in preventing some of the early signs of aging. It's a whole second set of eyes on your skin that isn't a physician. I am not a doctor. I can't treat anyone. I don't diagnose anything. But what I can do is help someone who maybe cannot recognize what is that redness in my face, or I'm having a lot of breakout problems, or my skin is really sagging. Do you have some ideas of what I can do? And although some things are treatable in my room, other things are not, but I can help find the things that people need that will make them feel younger, make them feel more youthful, give them a better complexion. I think youthfulness it's how we carry ourselves, it's how we view ourselves, it's less about how young you are or how old you are, but how you feel in your own skin. And I don't see what I do as a vacation thing. I see what I do as it's essential.
And that's exactly
feeling better, feeling good.
And that's what we try to do on Kathryn Raaker's World. And even in the television show I do for cooking, it's a healthy cooking show. So basically, we're trying to help people become healthier and happier within themselves and more confident. Well, I have to tell you, I'm so excited that we are working together. Thank you so very much.
You're
and
welcome.
Let's get going.
Okay.
We'll take a real short break on Kathryn Raaker's World. And don't forget to go to our website at KathrynRaakersWorld.com. We're back on Kathryn Raaker's World with Heather Cooper and Toolbox
Studio.
And now she's going to start the whole procedure that she does when she consults with a
Correct.
client, and what we're going to do.
Correct. So one of the first things that I like to do is have a good look at my client's face, their face shape, their eyebrows, and what I sort of see needs to happen to help them reach their goal. So you're powdering them in with a little bit of pencil or powder right now, it looks like.
Right.
And so that's the sort of look that we're going for when we deposit the pigment into the skin.
Okay.
So I know that you've had it in the past. I'm going to wipe your makeup off in a second, so I'll be able to see what's actually happening with the skin.
And what's happened is, over time, this eyebrow tends to be higher than this one.
Okay.
And I haven't had any Botox lately, so.
So muscularly, raise your eyebrows for me. When you raise them together, they're pretty symmetrical. Go ahead and relax. But as we were talking today, I did notice that this one tended, to want to come up a little bit higher. So one thing is very important when I'm planning someone's brow is to not overcorrect, because your muscles have a job, and some people get Botox, or maybe they get fillers and different things like that. What's important for me to know is, am I looking at the brows in their natural state? So you don't have any sort of Botox or anything. So where your brows live in a relaxed state is where they are. And that's very important for me, because if they're not, and I try to make one brow higher or lower to accommodate the other one, they're never going to be symmetrical, because that's not where your brow is. Okay? So next thing I need to do is get everything cleaned off.
Do you want me to move my hair or anything?
No, it'll be fine.
Okay.
So I'm just going to clean the skin, little alcohol wipe. So we always want to clean any germs or anything off the skin. And I will want to take a couple of photos before we start, and that way you'll have your before and after photos also.
And we'll be showing those on television everywhere.
So I can see a little bit of your old color.
You can?
Still, I think so. Yeah, it still lives in the skin. So that color that is there, that's left over, has faded to probably like a really, really soft blondish brown. It's very, very light, but it is definitely a little bit on the skin. So what I do then is I like to take a photo, and I like to have my clients looking directly at me, eyes open, as relaxed as you can. Perfect. Okay. The next thing is I need to do some basic measurements. Now, you said you do a little bit of tweezing or plucking yourself?
Not anymore. Not after
anymore.
what I did.
Yeah. So a lot of women think that all of their over plucking and tweezing had something to do with why their brows no longer grow. Sometimes that's true. The more you pluck a hair out of its follicle, the more likely you are that the hair does not come back.
Okay.
More than that, the lack of hair growth has to do with the changes of our body and our hormones as we're getting older. So that what causes that hair to grow for you in the past isn't happening for you now. So just not going to get hair there anymore. So what I like to do is sort of evaluate the hair. I like to leave as much hair as I can, because the most natural hair that you have is going to make the finished look better, because it gives it more dimension. One thing I notice though is your brow comes down a little far here in the front. So when I lay you back and actually do your brow today, what I would like to do is potentially actually take a little bit of that off.
Okay.
Which I know might sound scary because you want to keep all of your hair, but what that's going to do, it's going to give an immediate brow lift.
That's great.
That's
what I
So it's going to lighten the load there a little bit, which is going to open you up.
Okay. That's great.
Okay. So taking some basic measurements, I'm going to use a string method, and we're going to measure and map you out. Now this might be a good place for us to stop so I can lay you back and do your measurements. I don't know if you want to do that or not, but...
Okay, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
All right, so this string method allows me to be able to find some key points in your brow shape. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find center. So when I'm looking for center, fortunately your nose is nice and straight and even. Lines up nicely with your Cupid's bow on your lip. So what that does is it helps me to be able to mark my center of your brow. So I'm going to mark that, and then I'm going to find underneath where we want some of those little hairs to go away. It's just going to give you a nice brow lift. And I'm going to mark the top of your brow. And I'm going to find the corners where your tail, your brow should be. And then eyes open for me for a second. Just look at the ceiling. Yep, right there. Perfect. Okay, you can close if you want. So these are basically plumb lines. It helps me to be able to make sure that everything is sitting at nice, even markings. So when I draw your brow on, everything will align. And then with a pencil, I'm going to just sort of trace over what I've done. So everyone's forehead and eyebrow and shape is all fairly different, but basic waypoints or the key points of everyone's brow is fairly similar. So we look for the center, the beginnings of the brow, where the bulb of your brow, which is the beginning, which is usually approximately right around where the tear duct is. That's good. Tails of your brow, which is the outermost corner. And then the arch of your brow, which usually sits right out the outside of the iris of your eye. So before I wipe any of those things off, I'm going to sit you up a little bit so I can look at you from the front. Okay. And I know this is a hard process with us doing everything else, but I kind of have to do that. So
that's fine. You're doing a great job.
Okay. You can lay back. You can keep your head back.
Keep my head back?
Yeah, you can keep it right there. I just need to look at you from this direction.
Okay.
Before I do anything else, because this has to be right. So now I'm just wiping away those excess markings that I don't need, so that I can get a basis for your shape with just that pencil. And I haven't taken any hairs off yet. Everything is right where it was before I do that, because I want you to look at that shape so that you can determine if that feels like a good shape for you. Okay. Sometimes I like people to actually sit all the way up and face the front again for me, because what I want for you to do is look at yourself as relaxed of a brow as you can. That's the most natural. So these hairs right there
are going to be gone.
Are going to be gone.
Okay.
That's going to give you a nice lift.
Yeah, that's going to lift it's lifting my eyes up. I can see that already.
Because what happens when those hairs start to come down really far, and women do it all the time, they overpluck in here or on top, and they kind of get what I call the comma brow.
Okay. Somebody said that to me the other day.
It's what happens, and it happens all the time, and this is how we correct it. So we're still in line for a nice, spacing for where your natural brow should be. We're not coming in too far, but because these were starting to hook down lower, it starts to pull your brow bone down, and it makes us look heavier up here.
And on top of that, it makes this look like you have,
like you have no space in between.
No space in between.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, and you have an expressive brow. I mean, everything comes, but it's not, by doing this, it will make it look a little less in the front. It's
because I raise my face, as you see when I talk, I raise my brow, I raise my forehead up.
I do too, but mine's frozen.
Okay, that's great. I'm really happy with it. What color? Can we talk about color?
We can. So what we do when we look at color, I can take that for you.
Okay.
What I do when I look at color is, first and foremost, I'm kind of look at what's happening in the brow hair to begin with.
Okay.
We color our hair as women. A lot of women do it. It's not necessarily reflective of what the actual brow color should be.
Right.
Now that said, we can certainly find a happy medium if you know that the hair color on your head is what you're always doing and you want your brows to match that. It's fine. But when I'm looking at brow color, what I want to do is find a nice happy medium in between, because I don't want the brow color that I put on your skin to be so far off the natural color of your brow hair, they'll never match up.
Okay.
It won't. Dimension is good. Having a slightly darker hair and a slightly lighter brow color is fine. But going too far off the spectrum doesn't work.
Right, I don't want that.
Because it won't look natural.
No, that's right.
So taking into account your skin tone is sort of important, but it's not really as important to me because your hair color and what I know is going to look best on you, which is always going to be a slightly warmer color versus a cooler tone.
Right.
Your natural hair color is definitely cool. So it falls on that darker, cooler spectrum, but you wear your hair color warm. So we want to find something that kind of is going to coordinate. So I'm definitely going to go with a brown of some sort. Probably keep it on the lighter tone.
That's fine.
Not too dark. It's, especially since I saw what you came in with, I know what brow color you've been choosing for yourself, which is important.
Right.
Then I want to find something that's going to match that.
Okay.
When I put your color on today and over the next week, it's going to look a little darker than what it's going to look like when it's healed.
That's fine.
Okay? Healed skin will fade. When it's fresh, it's sitting high, it's going to look a little darker. It might even look a little warmer than you want it to look, but when it heals out, your body's going to flake off a little bit of that dead, dry skin, and you'll be left with that color underneath.
That's fine.
So lots of pigment lines have charts. And so this chart helps me to determine where your natural tone would normally fall.
Okay.
So your hair tone and color, and I don't know where you were originally before hair color came into your life.
Even remember.
Most women don't know, so it's okay. But if I were to guess the tone of what's happening in here, most likely you're probably in this ballpark. So this is just going to help me then to determine how to format your color, to fix your color. So this is just gives me a guideline based on whether
But it's not going to be that dark.
No. It won't. But your natural tone where you are. So I picked a couple colors for you before you came in today because I was pretty sure where we might need to be. So Ready medium, which is a sign of a softer brown, and then this is a blonde. So these two combined together should give you about that same tone that you had in your pencil when you came in.
That's exactly what I want.
And then this is a modifier, so this adds warmth. So what I'm going to do is mix up some colors, and I'm going to put a little bit on your forehead and kind of wash it out a little bit. That helps me to show all the undertones in the color so that when those go in your skin, it helps me to see how the undertone in your skin will be reactive with the color of the pigment. If I need a little bit more warmth, then I can modify that and I can add a little bit more warmth to your color.
That's great. That sounds exciting.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's how I choose my colors.
We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Heather Cooper and Toolbox
Studio.
We're ready.
Your skin, and then I'm just going to move it around a little bit, kind of break it down so that I can see the color, but also see your skin.
Even though I have makeup on up there.
Yeah, it's still reading through your natural skin tone. You have a lot of pink in your skin tone. So I like to put a little bit inside my shape also. See how it reads and blends with your hair. And I think that's going to be great. Forgot to bring the mirror over so that I could show you that. It's on the shelf, so maybe my assistant can hand it to me. All right. Now, I don't know if you're going to really be able to see this, but it's a nice...
That'll fade.
Oh, yes. And that is a big deposited amount of color. These colors are very pigmented, and they're very condensed, right? So once this breaks down into the skin, and it's going to be very light in the skin, plus your natural hair color is actually darker than that.
Oh, I know that. And I do have dark hair in there as well, right?
But this will be a nice pleasing tone, not only for your skin tone, but also for the way you wear your hair and to tie in nicely with your existing brow color.
It looks like I mean, I can see that my eyes look better now than they did before because it's lifted them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Getting rid of all of those longer hairs there in the front, it gives you an immediate brow lift.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Feel good about that?
Yes.
Now, that color is inside there for you, so you can kind of get an idea of what that looks like. And it will be lighter than that. It will heal lighter than that.
Okay. That's fine. Do you want
Feel
the
good
mirror
about
now?
that?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So now the next thing I'm going to do is set my parameter for your brows. So I'm going to take my machine And I'm going to just go real lightly around the border of your eyebrow so that I don't lose my shape.
And that's not going to hurt.
Oh yeah, I got to numb you.
Yeah, I thought that would be important.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove the topical numbing.
Mm-hmm. And then what are you going to do?
And then I'm going to take my machine on a really low speed, and I'm going to lightly go around your eyebrow, just enough to open the skin, and I'll put a secondary numbing on top of that. I'm going to leave this eye numbing for a minute.
Okay.
Okay? So you're going to hear a little sound, a little vibration is going to come on. And I'll let you know before I start. So I'm just going to get a little bit of our color.
Okay.
And I'm going to start right down here on the tail. I'm just going to real lightly touch your skin. So we've just completed your first session of your powder brow. This is a light dusting of color. We're going to let that sit on your skin and heal for the next 6 to 8 weeks, and then we're going to come back. We'll see how that color healed in you, and then we will do a second session so that we can perfect it, tweak your color a little bit if we need to, and just fine-tune any shape details. And then after that, you should have color for a couple of years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I'll let you take a peek.
Oh, yeah. It looks good.
And the redness in the skin will die down. The color will heal very neutral, nice soft brown. And all of those, any of those red undertones will go away.
Okay. I understand that.
Yeah. Perfect. So then aftercare for your brows, I'm going to send you home with a little packet. It's going to have your instructions in there, a packet of ointment that you will use just a small Q-tip once or twice a day for the next 3 to 5 days.
Okay.
And then just some basic instructions of things to do and not to do. The biggest thing that I normally will tell people is less is more. No rubbing, picking, scratching at the brow. If you start to get flaky, leave it alone. Your body knows how to heal itself. It knows what to do. So you just got to go through that process.
So my question is, for the rest of my face, I usually use like Lancome things that
just go around the brow. Try to avoid the brow for about 7 days.
I will. And then just do the rest of my face and I'm fine.
Correct.
Okay.
And the ointment is really for your comfort. It helps to soothe the skin. So it's got some vitamins and minerals and just kind of a healthy coating of gel that will go on, and you put that on with a Q-tip, and that will just help your skin to feel not so tight and dry.
Okay, so I don't have to put ice or anything else in it. Okay, that's great. That's super. Thank you very much.
You're
I really
welcome.
enjoyed this, and we will continue this show in 6 to 8 weeks, and she is now our new expert for beauty and health. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
And please give your website again, Heather.
It's toolboxstudiocincinnati.com, and all of my pricing, all of my services, I have a blog page, I have a training page, is all available on that website.
Don't forget to join us next time on Kathryn Raaker's World. And don't forget to go to our website at kathrynraakersworld.com, and we'll see you soon.